Suspended ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule's bid to overturn his suspension has been dealt another blow, this time by the Constitutional Court. The court has found that there are no reasonable prospects of success. Let's speak about Magashule's fate. We can speak to political commentator, analyst Rebone Tau. A very good afternoon to you, Rebone. Thank you so much for your time. So, the highest court in the land has said to Ace Magashule, there are no prospects for success. That's the legal avenue. Politically, what are his fortunes?
Good afternoon to the viewers at home. I mean, things are very tough, for Ace Magashule going to December, being the suspended Secretary General of the ANC and being outside of the processes. For an example, on the 11th of July, the acting SG, who's Paul Mashatile, issued the rules and the nomination process, of what should happen in terms of branches, because from August, mid-August to end of September, there will be nominations of National Executive Committee. And this really puts Ace Magashule in a very difficult position, because he might not actually contest at this conference as the Secretary General of the ANC due to the step-aside rule.
And that step-aside rule, of course, is expected to be a major point, a bone of contention, shall we say, come conference, because provinces are divided on whether it needs a redrafting or if the ANC needs to actually get rid of it altogether.
I mean, the policy conference set the tone, for December. Unfortunately, if you look at the composition of this policy conference, it does not actually process out of the branches process that we normally know that takes place within the ANC. This time around, the ANC National Executive Committee allocated numbers to provinces, and provinces requested regions to submit names. So some of those who have lost the debate at the policy conference seem to say that no, we'll come back in December, where we'll be marshalling branch delegates to December, but I don't think that it will actually be scrapped. The tone has been set at the policy conference.
Right, and Ace Magashule, at the beginning of his legal troubles, some had suggested that he would go the same route possibly as the former president Jacob Zuma, who actually, in fact, when he emerged from all the allegations of 10, 15 years ago, was in such a strong position, and there'd been a galvanizing of people around him, which ultimately led him to the presidency in Polokwane in 2007. Can that still happen for Magashule?
I think what you must understand, Magashule, in politics is what they call time and space for everything. And the time and space for that era of the former President Jacob Zuma has long passed. The ANC itself is just in a mess as an organization, and I don't see, and especially because if you look at also Polokwane, you must remember that former President Thabo Mbeki was not coming back as the state president because he had finished his term in terms of the 2 terms according to the South African Constitution, while yes, he was running for the ANC president, but comrades within the ANC knew that he's not coming back as the state president, and this is an opportunity for them to bring back. But with President Ramaphosa, we know that ANC can still forward him in 2024 as their candidate for the presidency of the Republic of South Africa. And so there's the 2 differences.
Just on strategy, I mean, Ace Magashule, when it became clear that he was going to be suspended based on the step-aside rule, also then sent a letter of suspension to the party's president, Cyril Ramaphosa. That's come to naught. Even the courts have said, well, this is not something worth pursuing, and sort of rolled their eyes at him. Strategically, did he miscalculate?
I think he miscalculated, you see, Ace Magashule, how he dealt with that process, because his suspension was not the president himself saying that he should be suspended. There was a process within the party, there was deliberations within the National Executive Committee, and then he decided to define himself outside of the collective, which is not something that I think most those even who are sympathetic to his cause within the National Executive Committee could support him at the time, because now he has defined himself. And in the ANC, they have what they call democratic centralism. Once the decision has been taken by the majority, you have to abide by that decision and you have to follow suit.
The run-up to the conference at the end of the year is yet to be confirmed. By yet to be confirmed, I mean as far as who will run for which position. Ace Magashule, as things stand, remains suspended, and the issue of doing away possibly with a step-aside rule will only come under consideration at conference. Is it any clearer who could step into the SG role when you consider, of course, the recent passing of the DSG, Jessie Duarte, who had, for some time until she'd become sick, actually been leading the SG's office, which runs the affairs of the organization?
I think one thing you can look at, especially right now, most of the candidates, are focusing on the presidency. And I think the position that is going to be highly contested is the deputy president. In terms of the SG position, you're not hearing a lot of names coming from that. But one of the people that over the past few months, the name that we've been hearing is the name of Dumiseni Mtuli. And Dumiseni Mtuli, who has just recently lost, as the provincial secretary of KwaZulu-Natal. And this does that mean that he will still be considered in the Cyril Ramaphosa slate as a secretary general candidate. But that's one of the names that has been really been making circles within the ANC circles, especially now, as I indicated earlier on, that you have the nomination process that is starting now mid-August, which means that such people will have to. But the main name that has been coming out is of Dumiseni Mtuli, and we're not hearing from the other faction who are they considering to be someone that can contest that position of the Secretary General in the absence of one of their own in their faction.
Rebone, a pleasure to speak to you. Rebone Tau, political analyst, speaking to us about the latest around Ace Magashule.